Hey everybody, welcome back to Life with Annie. So I did a video, I think it was yesterday, that y'all will see these the day after. But anyway, I'm baking a cake. And I like to sometimes when I'm baking a cake to come in and kind of prep my ingredients and get out the things that I'm gonna need. So that's what the video is yesterday. So I was getting all my ingredients out to make the $1 million pound cake. And so I have 3 cups of sugar measured out. I've got 4 cups of flour. I've got my vanilla, my almond, my butter. I just washed up my eggs. These are fresh eggs. We have to wash off the bloom before we use them. And so I just did that. So I'm going to start making this cake. I'm going to just go ahead and crack my eggs in here first. And then we'll get started on actually making the cake. So this is a cake, this is like my favorite cake. And my sister had made one a while back with caramel frosting. I'm gonna try to do the caramel frosting. I actually went back and printed out her recipe for that caramel frosting. I usually just do it by feel, I don't measure it. But I'm going to try to follow her measurements and steps. So you need 6 eggs. And so I've got my eggs all cracked in a bowl. So we're going to get started with this cake. Let me just move this over here. And I'm going to kind of turn y'all around because I've got my hand mixer up here today. Or not my hand mixer, my stand mixer up here because we're going to be making our cake in this. So I also have a crock pot over here with chicken cooking for Lucy and Thunder. So I'm going to have to unplug. Let's see, I don't want to unplug the crock pot, so we'll unplug that little light thing. And we'll plug in my little mixer here. Okay, so I'm going to reach over here and grab my ingredients. So you're going to need a pound of butter. And I'm using, I like to cook or bake with the Pelugra butter. I heard somebody say one time that a chef said that it was really the best butter to bake with. But I only have 1 pack of this, so I'm going to use 2 sticks of regular, just real butter. So we're going to put that in here. So let me just kind of, and I have it soft, I hope. Put that out of there, into the sink, and then we'll put the other 2 sticks of butter. Let me kind of swing y'all around a little bit more. And here's number 3. And then number 4. And then I'm just going to kind of start mixing that, letting that kind of mix together. Start it off kind of slow, and then we'll kind of pick it up. And then to this, I'm going to add in my sugar. Let me grab my sugar here. And it's 3 cups of sugar. Go ahead and get out my little spatula so I can scrape it down. And I'm just going to scrape some of this butter off of the paddle. Okay, this is a really good cake. Even if you don't put frosting on it, it's a good cake just to have plain as a pound cake. I love pound cake. All right, so let's Set this back up. And I'm going to start pouring in my 3 cups of sugar. Now the pound cake that my sister made a few months back, she uses a different recipe, I believe, for her cake, and it is really good too. But whenever I make a pound cake, I usually just go to this one. Grab my little bowl here. Scrape the sides down again. I have an audience here, Lucy and Thunder. I guess they're thinking they're going to get some cake or something. And I have to say, I don't think that this cake has ever failed me. Now watch, this time it won't turn out, but usually I have real good luck with it. So then I'm going to start adding my eggs. I'm going to kind of drop them down in as best as I can, one at a time. But if more than one falls in at a time, that's okay. We can work with that too. So that was one egg. Let's get that mixed in really well. There's number 3. There's the 6th egg. And I'm going to get my milk out. I didn't grab my milk yet. Let me grab my milk. And it's 3/4 of a cup of milk. Go ahead and preheat my oven to 300 degrees. Now, like I said in my video yesterday, I've never made this pound cake in this new oven, so I'm hoping that it turns out for me. So every oven is always different, but I'm hoping that it'll turn out. I don't see why it wouldn't. Let me get over here and scrape this side down. Okay. And then we're going to start adding the flour and the milk. And we're going to kind of alternate that. All right, so let's put this back down. And let me grab my flour. So this was 4 cups of plain flour. So we've got 3 pound of soft butter, 3 cups of sugar, 6 eggs, We're going to add 4 cups of flour, alternating it with the 3/4 of a cup of milk. And then we're going to need a teaspoon of vanilla and a teaspoon of almond. So I'm going to start adding our flour. Gently. Oops. And then we'll add a little milk. And we'll add some more of the flour. Flour, and we'll add the rest of the milk. And we're just going to let that kind of mix together. And I'm going to bring over my vanilla and my almond extract. And I'm going to bring over my pan. I did measure out a little bit of flour. I've already greased my pan, and I just want to put a little bit of flour. And this is a 10-inch tube pan. I'm just going to put the flour kind of in here. We'll see if I need to get any more out. Kind of knock it around. Make sure we get it all over the bottom. I just kind of like to get it on this little tube part. My oven is preheated. Okay, so we got our pan there. All right, let me give it a scrape again, and we'll add our vanilla and our almond. Now, I've probably told this story many times, but, you know, when it comes to baking, you have to measure. I mean, unless you're, know how to exact amounts or whatever by eye. But I had an aunt, my grandmother's sister, we called her Aunt Celie. And she would come to Christmas or Thanksgiving, and she would bring the best cakes. And we never could find a recipe book or any kind of papers where she had written it down. Now, they, had like real cream, cow's milk. Everything was, just good old real stuff. But she made the best cakes ever, and I've never had anything come close to it. But I kind of wonder if she even measured anything. All right, so you need a teaspoon of almond and a teaspoon of vanilla. So this is my almond here. Go ahead and add that. And then we're going to add a teaspoon of vanilla. And when you open your almond, it kind of reminds you of that Jergens hand lotion. And a teaspoon of vanilla. All right. So let me put this back down. And let's get that mixed in. Okay, so I'm gonna set these over here. And I'm gonna dust the flour off of my foot here. Here. Turn this up just a little bit higher. All right, and I'm going to grab my pan real quick. Actually, I think when this is done, I think we'll move over to this area, and that way it'll be easier for me to pour the batter. And then we'll move my frosting ingredients over here. Okay, let's see how we're doing. Give it another scrape. Oh, this smells so good. I think we're good. I'm gonna take my paddle off. Let me get a smaller, get a knife or something. Scrape this off. That. And that. Let me just make sure that flour's not sitting on the bottom because we don't want that. Okay, so we're gonna turn y'all over here now. And let's see, we'll move my pan to right there. Okay. And then let me grab the batter. Fingers. I'm just gonna make sure, I just don't want any flour on the bottom. Then we're just gonna, this is one heavy bowl, so we're gonna do our best to try to get it in our pan. I'll show y'all in just a minute. Do better if I just scrape and drop. It's a thick batter, but isn't a pound cake like a pound of butter, a pound of sugar, a pound of flour, or something like that? Back. Get all this out. Now this has to bake, it says for an hour and 40 minutes. It says in all, I've written in all caps, do not open oven while baking. So if you have a door without a window, just don't open it. I've never had one fall, but you never know. I'm sure they tell you that for a reason. I do have a window though, I can look at mine, so. All right. Get this little bit up here in the little spout. Okay, I think that's pretty good. So I'm just gonna, so you can see it's a very thick batter. I'm just gonna kind of spread it around. Towel and see if we can get this off of here. Okay. Let's just kind of tap it down a little bit. All right, so let me back y'all up and we're gonna put it in the oven. Got it 300. We'll pop it in here. I've got a liner in there and it wants to slide every time I put something in, but I think it's okay. All right, I'm gonna set my timer for 1 hour and 40 minutes. And then we're gonna come back and release it and see if it turns out. And then we will try to make a frosting, okay? We're gonna try to make the caramel frosting. All right, so y'all, we will see y'all back in a few hours. So this will be 2 parts because if I left my phone on pause for 1 hour and 40 minutes, it just drains my battery. So it's gonna have to be a second video. All right, we'll see you again soon.